everyone and try to make it more understand in the overall pictures. So our presentation today is that we are going to talking about the Facebook approach to recruiting the employees by starting with the opening case. In this one, you guys gonna get some idea that how recruiting is important for some company situations. And then we are going to introduce the what is recruitment. Later we are going to tell us what is how to conduct the effective recruiting. Okay, starting with the opening case. This case, as you can see, it is about the Facebook, but I'm going to give the background that I think there's no one gonna disagree that the company or the organization cannot survive without good employees. But how the company gonna get the effective or good employee that the company wants? So the company must like the teacher said that the recruiting is kind of like the marketing. So the company must get the attention from the potential worker as much as possible. And one thing that can call attention for that is the reputation of how the company treat the employees. So and Facebook SR Vice President also believes that in order to get the meaningful work in area of matter to Facebook, the worker must like thinking about the area that matter to them as well. They want the thing that matter to them as well as the company want the thing that matter to the company. So I'm going to explain what is the matter to Facebook. By looking at the Facebook missions, the mission of the Facebook is connecting to the world, and also the company also seeking for the working culture with the talent people and also the hardworking people. In order to get that, Facebook not just set up the mission like that. Facebook creating the thing that will allow that to happen. So the company create a working environment with the balance between the openness and focus. By I think some of you might know already that the CEO of the Facebook working together with his working table is next to other employees in the company. That one is allow the working culture to be the open one and allow the collaborative one. So next is what is the matter to employees. I think everyone must have in mind that to what matter to employee is the employee must get the good working facility, the thing that gonna make them have the convenience in working, and also the thing that they want in return. So next one, I have some video clip to show you how is Facebook become the number one working place that people want to work with.
There are very few places you can work with the smartest people in the world on the hardest problems in the world and still have fun while doing it. You can literally change the world while still not getting up who you really are.
Probably the most important thing is the people who work here really believe in what we're doing. We believe that when we share who we are with the people we want to share with, it enhances our lives. And I think increasingly, we really believe in the power of community.
I just love that I have such a huge community here, and that we're also working on products that help other people create their own communities too.
We have immense support from our management and executives in the company. When we're working on projects that we feel are impactful, and then we get that recognition from the exec team, it's very empowering.
I joined Facebook 3 years ago. Everybody was so open and collaborative. I felt like I had a seat at the table. I had a voice. I thought that was a really amazing opportunity that has helped me grow.
Everyone here knows the culture. There isn't one person whose job is to be responsible for the culture. One of my favorite posters is, "This is your company now." So, it's really saying to people the moment they walk in the door, we're all in this together and you're part of that now.
We have an amazing mission for us to accomplish, and we have a culture that allows us to go after it. when you think about the bigger picture of connecting people, building communities, in the outside world, but also internally, that's a very powerful thing to go after. I think it brings us together as a group.
I mean, I never would have thought I would share all the things I share now. But I think building this product affects you. There is something we try to encourage here that I think runs through our product, which is we want to know who you are, we care who you are, we care about all the aspects of your life. And sharing that makes us better, stronger, makes us the people we are that work together to a mission we care about.
Okay, so with this, you may see that Facebook become like very good place to work with. So according to the Glassdoor, from 2008, Facebook is number one working place. But according to 2019, it's become to number 7, but still the top 10, right? Out of like many thousand companies in the world. Okay, so
You have inside information why Facebook went from number 1 to number 7. This is something interesting to know. If it 1 and 2 or 3, probably 1 to 7. What happened?
okay, later our group will research and tell you next week the thing. Okay. Our homework. Okay, but back in few years ago, you might heard about the Cambridge Analytica issues, but for some of you that don't know, I'm going to explain what this is. So in Facebook, as you know that we can create some kind of the quiz, and then Facebook user gonna complete it. But this case is that some person create the quiz on the Facebook, and then the user do it. But instead, and after the user complete that quiz, their personal data is recorded in some of the private database, and that database is sold to the Cambridge Analytica, which is the political consulting firm, and that firm and there is a scandal that firm using that information to create the Trump campaign for the U.S. President elections. This create very bad image for Facebook. So the Facebook reputation is decreased, as you can see. It's decreased a lot from that scandal. So this one affect in both sides, both views. First one is that many users stop using Facebook, and the second one is that many employees lose their hope in the companies. But for Facebook to survive this situation, it's for sure that Facebook could not survive without employees. So it is important for them that how they can recall the current employee belief and also the futures employee that's gonna work for them in the futures. That coming with our presentation today, that how can all the company conduct the good recruitment. Starting with the introduction to recruitment, I would like to explain first what is recruitment. Recruitment is one part of the hiring process, and in the hiring process, it consists of recruitment portion and selection portions. To come up with everything, if you would like to have the effective recruitment, you must have the strong human resource planning. And in human resource planning we have 3 steps in doing it. The first one is forecasting. Second one is strategic planning, and third one is implementation and evaluations. First one, I'm going to explain in detail about what is the forecasting. The goal of forecasting is that the HR department must predict whether in the future the company gonna experience the labor shortage or surplus. And the thing is that all companies do not want to experience that. So the method in forecasting, we have 2 types. The first type is the statistical, which is the using about the historical data, telling you have previous data from before and then try to predict from that. And as you know, nowadays there might be some unexpected situation come up and that one did not show in the previous data. That means sometimes some organization must use the human judgment as well. For example, is if you know that next year there gonna be some prime minister selection, there might be something come up with the socials, right? So that might be affect with your company situation as well. And then in forecasting, what thing that you have to forecast? The first one is you have to forecast the demand for labor. In this one, to be clear, is that you have to consider in your company in the future what careers, what kind of job categories or skill that you will need in the future. You have to clarify that. And then the second one, define whether that job area or specific work will be increased or decreased. The increase will be from the higher demand from the customers. The decrease might be from the retirement of the employees or stuff like that. And the method to do this is also using the trend analysis. It's still using the statistical data as I explained it here. But the catching point is just what I tell you, that you also have to sometimes the judgment have to be involved in this in some of unexpected situation happens. And then the second one, after you forecast what kind of specific job that you need in the future, you also have to determine whether in the future your company will be able to have that kind of manpower or not. By determining the internal labors, you can use the transition matrix to define whether your current employee will be able to fill with the future's demand of the category or not. And then after you define the external labor supply is also important as well. This one is referred to you have to think in the future, will the employees market suppliers can provide you the skill of work that you want in the company. So maybe you have to consider what is the trend that university students study right now. Will that skill answer to the thing that you need in the future? Finally, with these two forecasts, you can determine whether in the future your company gonna experience the surplus or shortage of the manpowers. Next one, after you know what situation that your company will be, you have to setting the goals and strategy and the strategies to tackle that point. So the strategy will set up based on the situation. There are two situations here. The first one is employee surplus, then the second one is employee shortage. In the employee surplus, it's very easy that the goal is you want to reduce the number of laborers and if you want to reduce the number of labor, you can come up with many strategies. I'm going to explain in the briefly one because as you can see from the name itself, it's not that complicated to understand. For example, downsizing or layoff. This one is your company gonna use the downsizing or layoff strategies to reduce the number of employees when they think some group of employees do not benefit to the company anymore. And also pay reduction and reducing hours. This one, the key point of reducing number of labor or tackle the employee surplus is that you want to change the output of the cost effectiveness of the company. So reducing the payments and reducing working hours one of the way that you can improve that. And also demotion is that you reduce the the status or the job status of that person, and then transfer is that if some section in the company is experiencing the surplus, but another section in the company experiencing the shortage, so they transfer the employees between the sections. And here is job sharing. Job sharing is the thing that you using the part-time employees to share their job. For example, the first one working at the morning shift, the second one working at the afternoon shift. So you pay less for the salary of the part-time job. And also the hiring phase is that the company do not stop hiring other people. And then come to the early retirement, your company may promote the early retirement so that some of the employee can leave the company earlier. And this one is retraining. Retraining is the thing that some of the employees might have the potentials that they can learning some new skills. So you train that person and use that person to work in other kind of job areas. Second one, when the company experiencing the working employee shortage, in this case, you want to increase the number of labor or increase the number of working output of the companies. In doing so, we have two strategies. First thing is that company may manage the internal capacity to handle first. The first thing is that consider to use the overtime. In this overtime, it's like using the current employees but asking them to do more of the job. So you're gonna have more output than before, but you also have to consider that there might be problem with the quality of the product, because when employees working a lot, it may affect with their capacity to work. And then the second one is the turnover rate reductions. Turnover is referred to the numbers of employees left the company. So you try to reduce this number as much as possible. And other thing is that we equip the new technologies or new innovations to improve the output of the companies. The second one is that the recruit of the new employees. But to recruit of the new employee, the company also have other things to consider, which is the cost of including these new employees. So the first type of the employee that they can recruit is the temporary employee. This one may use can tackle the problem in the company experience the employee shortage in just for some period. So they predict that in next 2 months the company have to produce a lot of products, so they recruit the new employees just for some period. And then the second one is contract worker, is that asking recruit some person to do some jobs with the contract for the short terms. And then using the outsource is that you are hiring the group of people from other company to do the job for your organizations. And this one is retrain learning transfer that I told you before. It's like retrain the employees and then transfer them to work in other jobs in other sections. And the last one is the new external hire, is that you hire the new permanent employee. This one will cost the most because you're gonna have to pay the cost for the recruitment fees and also do the interviews and stuff like that. And next one, this one I would like to sum up with everything, that after you forecast the labor demand, labor supply, you analyze this data to find whether your company is gonna experience the employee surplus or shortage. you know the plan and make the strategies. Later you have to do it, implement the plan, and then all the way you also have to check and evaluate the plan as well, because the thing that you plan is that you forecast it. The data is not real, but in the real world there might be some unexpected situation happen. So you have to evaluate with whether your plan that you implement answer to your goals or not. If you think that the current situation is not answer to your goal, you have to act fast. You have to act fast by maybe you have to reconsider the plan again, or recover the plan. What is the thing that not go well on the plan? You have to track go on that, and then start doing it again. So in this process, our group might recommend you to apply the plan to check act model in this.
Okay, let's see. Recruiting human resource. First start with these two below: vacancy characteristic and applicant characteristic. Applicant's decision to accept the offer job and the the decision to make the offer is dependent by the match of these two characteristics. And we also have the main three aspects of the recruiting, which is the first one is personnel policy, the second is recruiter traits, and the last one is recruitment source. Today we are going to focus on these three aspects. Before starting with the first aspect, let's see the factors that people consider when they apply for a job. Here we have top three factors. The first one is pay and benefits, which is the most one, and the second one is job characteristic, and the third one is company reputation. So as a recruiter, if you want to attract the candidates, you may need to focus on these three factors.
But where does it come from?
It's from the research. It's from the questionnaire of 4,000 people. From the post today. From post today.
In Thailand or outside?
In Thailand, 4,000 of Thai people. Yes. In March 2000, this year of March.
So it would be nice if you provide source of information.
Oh, okay, sorry about that.
We how can is it outside Thailand, in Thailand, or when that's gonna be more helpful.
Sorry about that.
This is from Thailand, okay?
Yes. Okay, next, let's start with the first aspect of the recruiting. The first one is personnel policy. Personnel policy is a company decision about how to fill a job vacancy, how it will carry out the human resource management. The personnel policy is the foundation of hiring employees, governing employees' responsibility, and also providing the protocol for dealing with employment problems. Let's see the first personnel policy. The first one is internal versus external recruiting. For internal recruiting is hiring people who already work in the organization. And promoting from the inside of the organization is a good opportunity to make the job be attractive to the employees and applicants. And for external recruiting is hiring people who are outside of the organization. Bringing outside is good opportunity to gain a new way of innovation and new idea of doing business. And the second one is pay strategy. As we can see from that factor, the survey that pay and benefit is the most factor that Thai people looking for when they apply for a job. So pay strategy is an important strategy for all the job characteristic for almost all applicants. Pay higher than the current market at the same job position can attract the talent in many ways. And also pay higher can also used to deal with the problem for the less desirable jobs, such as working on the night shift, working at a location that really far away from the town, or working in a dangerous situation. And the next one, social presence and reputation. The image of the organization also influences the degree to which the person feels attracted to the organization. The organization shows their positive image through their social activity and also through their social media, such as posting picture, video, or posting story on their website company. Next. Okay, according to the reputation, this is also from the post today from March this year.
In Thailand?
In Thailand, yes, in Thailand.
You have Facebook here in Thailand?
Yes, it's right there.
Do we have Facebook office in Thailand?
Yes.
What is it?
Do we have in Facebook
yeah. Only one.
Yes, the top companies, according to the reputation, the top companies that Thai people want to work for, the first one is PTT, the second is SCG, and following with CPR, Google, MEA, and so on. Hiring policy. Hiring policy is the policy that defines how the employees are interviewed and get on board into the organization. For hiring new staff, the company must have a standard method of interview. It means that each candidate brought in should be subjected in the same set of the interview question and the same set of the test. And also, after hiring, they need to be informed the necessary information such as tax information, payment, compensation, or work schedule. And training, the organization might provide the training course for those who need it. Next, work schedule policy is a general information about work schedule such as workday hours, lunch period, holidays, vacation, or sick leave. And next, benefits. Benefit is also an important factor that can attract the candidates. The example of the benefit is health insurance, social security, provident fund, bonus, or retirement plan. Okay, talking about benefits. This also from Post Today in Thailand. Let's see the benefits that Thai people expect from the company. The first one is bonus and salary increasing. The second one is health insurance, and the third one is provident fund. And we also have the benefit that American people expect from the company. The first one is better health. The second one is more flexible, and the third one is more vacation time. If we compare to this country, we may find out that Thai employees tend to focus on pay and benefits, while American people may tend to focus on work-life balance.
And in Thailand, we also have diligent fee. Fee is just so Thai. Actually, you have to be diligent. You don't have to do it to expect for that benefit. Okay.
Okay, next is compensation. Compensation depends on the organization. The example of compensation is like pay days, salary range, salary review policy, promotional increase, or salary increase. Next, performance evaluation is the policy that evaluates the performance of the employees. Some organizations may provide reward system for those who have a good performance and warning system or punishment system for those who have a bad performance. And the last one is anti-discriminatory policy. It's a policy that keeps the workplace environment free away from the excessive drama, bullying, discrimination, or sexual harassment. And some organizations may encourage employees to have the political freedom and cultural acceptance. This kind of policy will help the employees to feel free and be happy to be in the organization. Okay, next let's start with the second aspect of the recruiting, which is recruiter traits. Recruiter also influence on the recruitment performance because they affect both the job vacancy and the application generated. But before starting with the recruiter traits, let's see today's labor market. Today's labor market is driven by employer or candidate. We found the result from talent types say that 90% of today's labor market is driven by candidate, and only 10% is driven by employer or organization. So hiring and firing at your job applicants, especially those within demand, has become extremely high cost, expensive, and really take time. So with this war for talent circumstance, recruiters should have these 6 characteristics to be a successful recruiter. Start with the first one, think proactively. Recruiters should think proactively because the time that the recruiter posts the job vacancy on the job board and wait for the great candidates to come to you is gone. Because only active job seeker come to your board and see it. And active job seeker is only 12% of the market. The best candidate that they should focus on is passive job seeker, which is 73% of the market, according to the LinkedIn.
What does it mean by passive job seeker?
Okay. Or passive job seeker is a candidate that who are not actively to go find for a new job, but they would be willing to accept the new job if they get a better offer. So a successful recruiter, they will know about it and they will go out there. They're not just gonna wait for it. They will go out there for the market and attract those passive job seekers to be interested in their organization. They will use the inbound instead of outbound recruiting strategy to attract those passive job seekers. Next, have empathy. The recruiter should have empathy. Emotional intelligence and empathy, recruiters tend to be more successful because they know candidates' needs, wants, hope, and fears. They also know what motivates them, and they have a better chance to get to know candidates on the developer level to build and maintain relationship with them. And those, they can build up a positive candidate experience. And let's see the benefit of providing positive candidate experience. We can see from the research. We can see that applicants or employees who have a positive candidate experience, 97% they tend to refer others to apply to the organization. 95% they tend to apply again. And for 55% they tend to share their good experience on social media. And this is good for the organization because they can gain reputation and great awareness from the outside. Next, be a tech savvy. Today's technology provide a lot of recruiting software. One of them is ATS. Some recruiters use ATS or applicant tracking system to manage recruiting process by collecting and organizing applicant information. ATS help the recruiter to reduce time spending on reading and screening on applicants' resume. And they also help to improve quality of the candidates. And we also found that nearly 80% they said that after use ATS, they have improved their recruiting process. So a good recruiter might use technology to adapt with their working to make it to be a better recruiting process. The next one is engage others. In order to get a great candidate, the recruiter might use social recruiting, social media, and some recruiter might rely heavily on employee referrals. They engage and motivate others to help them to find and attract the great candidates out there. And it seems like employees tend to use the shortest time to get hired and on board. Let's see the chart below. It shows us that the average time they get hired and on board. Employees take the shortest time with that. Next, a recruiter should have analytical minds. A successful recruiter, they are not afraid of the number. They use the data from recruiting software, analyzing it to get the inside information and use them to make the better information about recruitment. Next, be creative. In this war for talent, the recruiter should be creative. Successful recruiter, they use recruitment marketing to help them to attract those great candidates. What is recruitment marketing? The normal recruiting might focusing just on application selection and hiring, but recruitment marketing they will also focus on awareness, consideration, and interest. The main objective of the recruitment marketing is that they want to drive the great candidates out there to come to the organization by themselves. So these characteristics are the example of the great recruiter. So if you can use that to adapt in your organization, you may get the passive job seeker who is a lot out there at the market, and you can encourage them to join you at the organization. Next.
Okay, so let's move on to the last aspect of recruiting, which is recruitment sources. Recruitment sources can be divided into two main components, which is internal recruiting and external recruiting. Internal recruiting is when the business looking for outsiders to fill in the vacancy in the company. And for external recruiting is when the business look for, I just swapped them, right? So the internal recruiting is when the business looking for the insider of the company, and for the external recruiting is when the business looking for outsider to fill in the vacancy of the company. So as Ajahn mentioned that recruiting is marketing, right? I have some short clip that's going to explain what recruitment is marketing means.
The art and science of recruitment. Today's job seekers are in the driver's seat. They're no longer willing to just throw their resumes to the wind and hope for the best. In the past, recruiters and candidates essentially met at the job interview. Career sites and job boards were the primary sources for candidates to learn about potential opportunities. Candidates now have the power of a social world on their side. They conduct endless research to fully understand a company, its culture, and its reputation before making first contact. And they're way more selective about which organizations they're willing to work for. For candidates, looking for a job is a lot like making a major purchase. The research happens on a regular basis, over a long period of time, before any action is taken. What's more, candidates are often your customers. How you treat job seekers can affect customer relationships and your overall reputation in the market. This means that recruiters must compete for the best talent while simultaneously enriching the job seeker experience. Recruiting has become marketing. Today's recruiters need to shift their focus and evolve their strategies to more of a marketing process. They need to meet candidates where they are, engaging them early and often to nurture and build long-lasting relationships. In fact, the most sophisticated recruiters engage with potential job seekers before a position even opens. And they're gaining the attention of people who may be happily employed somewhere else. This is the art and science of recruitment. It all sounds wonderful, but where do you begin?
So this clip explain briefly of the sentence why recruitment is marketing. So let's start with the first component, which is internal recruitment. I believe that most people in this room are office workers, right? You might have heard of these common methods that companies using in internal recruitment. First, promotion. Organization usually use promotion to fill higher level position. Since candidates are already working in the company, right? So the company would know their workers' capabilities and abilities for them to get promoted. And next one is internal advertisement or job posting. This is when the company announce notice of vacancy of the jobs in the organization within the company. Either it's going to be paper advertisement in like bulletin boards or send out an email memos to employees. And third one is temp to hire, or it comes from temporary to hire. In some company, they tend to initially recruit employees temporarily, and then if they see that those employees have what it takes to be their permanent employee, they can change the status of those employees to become like the permanent one. This is quite benefit to the company because you can usually test whether those candidates or employees have what it takes to be your permanent employee or not. If not, you can just not employ them no more. And the last one is organization can hire a retired employee as contractor because a retired employee should have an experience and knowledge in those particular business. Some company tend to hire those retired employees to be whether the consultants or some of the management level. So let's see what is the pros and cons of internal recruitment. For the pros, firstly is employee will know the business already because they already work in those particular company, right? And secondly, employee would grow within a business because some employee might feel that if they do the job well, they might get promoted and maybe their career path might be climb to the highest point of the company. And as I mentioned, this could strengthen the employee engagement in the company also because internal recruitment can make employees stay longer within the company because they might believe that if they do their best, in some day they could be in the top management level. Another one is that internal recruitment would reduce time to hire because actually you would have like the database of those candidates on your hand and you can know their capabilities and abilities already, so you don't have to wasting your time keep interviewing and screening new resumes. And the last one is internal recruitment would cost less. As I mentioned, you don't have to hold more interviews and you don't need to spend much money for some agency out there to hunt some employees for you. And the disadvantages is that sometimes internal recruitment can leave a gap in your existing workforce. For example, if one person switch or get promoted in higher position, but the company does not have anyone to replace his or her previous position, so this might cause a business disruption. And the second one is that it would limit your pool of applicants because you would have only candidates within your company, and in some company in each department you might have not much people or candidates in each department. The last one is that it would result in inflexible culture because you will have only the same person that works in the company for a long time, and then you would not experience some new cultures from new hires. Second one is external recruitment. I would go through the common methods that company use to do the external recruitment. First, let's start with direct applicants. Direct applicants are people who apply for a vacancy for a job without prompting from the company. As you can see from the slide, this is from PwC website. Direct applicant maybe sometimes they can walk into the company and provide their resume or they can call or email directly to the company. For the pro of this method is that applicant would be already bought into your company. You don't have to convince them or promote your company that much because they decided to apply to your company on their own judgment. Second, no upfront cost because you don't have to pay for anything or anyone. Third one is that you can have your own database of applicants. Maybe if in the current situation that position is not available yet, but maybe in the future you might need someone that used to send the application to you. For the con is that it's maybe sometimes hard to track the application if there is nothing available immediately. What it means is that sometimes applicant might not be able to provide you every information, so it might be difficult to keep track with them. The second method is referrals. Referral is when people apply to your company because someone in your organization prompt them to do so. In some companies, if you are a referrer, you might get some financial incentives. In this slide is also from PwC again. For the pro for the referrals program is that it is a credible direct sale of the vacancy because the referrer would already know which position is already vacant in your company and then they can choose someone directly. And it costs less because you don't have to go out there to find someone to fill in this position. For the con is that you might have limited pool of candidates because sometimes sometimes employee in your company might not know everyone in the world, right? It means that you will have a limited pool of candidates, so you might not have a chance to meet the one that is the best. And rejection of the new employee might demotivate the referrer, so they might get bored or get demotivated, and it might affect to their work result. Second one is that it may distract employees from other duties. As I mentioned earlier, that in some company would offer financial incentives. Some employee might only focus on to refer someone to the company to get that incentives only, so they might lose focus with their work. Last one, it might cause nepotism. Nepotism is the practice of hiring only relatives. In some situation, you might refer only your friend, your family, something like that. So nepotism can happen in referral program. And next one is job search and networking platform. As we live in the digital era, right? Nowadays, you can have many job search site and networking platform that you can connect with the companies and recruiters. In the slide, I'm sure that everyone would know about this website, JobDBs. In JobDBs and other job search, recruiter can easily find candidates resume with only one click, and they can filter their needs to match with what they really want for the company. In the graph here shows the most used networking platform in recruiting. So if you can see from the graph, LinkedIn is the most used website. I'm not sure whether who did get employed from this website. Anyone? No one?
How come color different from others?
Oh, I just wanted to emphasize this one.
So the red one recruiter,
Represent the use of the recruiter ค่ะ
and yellow is
job seeker. Okay, so for the pros and cons of the job search and networking platform. For the pro is that, as I mentioned earlier, we are living in the digital era, so it is a global search and instant applicants. You just only need your computer, your phone, and the internet, and that's all. And it can allow company to promote your brand through these websites, because sometimes you need to provide a description or definition of the job, and also you can promote your brand and your company also. And in the website, it would use digital analytics tools, so the result might be better than sitting and reading the resume. For the cons is that you might need labor. It might require labor intensive, because, for example, in Facebook, I'm sure that everyone is not going to love when you need to chat with a bot, right? So maybe company might need some labor intensive to stay connected with applicants. And a poorly managed may put off potential employees. For example, if you maybe miss some of the applicants or some of the resume, you might miss the opportunity to get the best one. So I have some tips for using social network in recruiting effectively. First, develop a favorable online brand as an employer. As I mentioned, you need to sell your company, sell your brand. That would attract the applicant to work with you. And secondly, you have to gather and analyze data about talented people. As I mentioned earlier, that if you miss like some of the best people out there, it might affect to your recruiting process or your company. Next one is help wanted advertising. The example help wanted advertising is when company place advertisement in anywhere that they want. So it could be either online or offline. For the online method, I use the example of JobDB again. So the pros of it is it cost effectively, and as I mentioned earlier, it's global search. Only need one click. And the cons is that if it's a badly designed website, you might again miss some of the important person or a good one. And press advertising offline. I'm not sure whether someone's still looking for a job for this one. You still doing, Jake? Okay.
Actually, if you can add group of worker, so maybe if knowledge worker probably not so much, but maybe for labor level maybe.
So as Ajahn mentioned, this method is suitable for some of the workers also, right? For the pros of this method is that the cost would be fixed because the company will have to pay for the advertising fee. And it is an effective method to hire locally, because in some area in Thailand, as you may know, internet might not be able to reach them. And it comes with greater flexibility because company can choose what types of ads, and actually it depends on the budget that the company have. If you have much more budget, you can just place like the biggest one in the front page. But if you have like not so much budget, you can place only like the small one. And the con is that it would limit the pool of candidates, as I mentioned, because nowadays not everyone reading newspaper or magazine no more. And the next one is using third party. Third party can be separated into two groups. First one is private agency. For the private agency, for example, Adecco. Is anyone have ever experienced interview job with Adecco before? I'm sure that people from Exxon should be. So the recruitment agency would focus mainly, the private agency would focus mainly on the white collar labor. So the pro is that because they are recruitment agency, they will have specialist expert knowledge in HR, and the candidates that you get would be the pre-screened one. You don't have to do much administration in your own company. And if you don't hire that particular candidates, you don't need to pay anything to the agency. For the cons is that it could be costly because in some agency would charge you 20% from that candidate's salary. And the database can be limited if you use only one agency. And the next one is search consultant. The search consultant is different from the recruitment agency in the way that they work. The headhunter, search consultant or headhunter would working actively. As their name, they are headhunters. They would go out there and hunt the best candidates for the company. So the pros and the cons would be similar to the recruitment agency. And the next one is public agency. Public agency would focus on the blue collar. For example, Department of Employment is the public agency of recruitment in Thailand. So the main pros of these agencies is that mainly of the service are free, and main cons is that you will not get the pre-screened candidates. So the last one that I would like to mention is job fairs and events. For the pro is that you might able to meet a lot of people in a very short period, and you can increase your awareness of the organization. For the cons, you don't have any chance to select candidate because sometimes you need to get everyone's resumes. You can't turn them down because you are in a job fair, and you need to compete with many other companies in the job fair, so it might be hard for you to outshine. So the advantages and the disadvantages of the external recruitment is that for the advantages, you will gain new perspective from new recruiter. Maybe their idea would be fresher and newer than the one that in the company. You will get larger candidate pool and increase your branding because maybe some of the candidates would sell your company to their friends or their relatives, and the company would be more diverse. And for the disadvantages is that you will face higher risks because sometimes you might not know that whether that candidates can actually do the work. You can't just decide from like the interviews or maybe some tests. And it's time consuming because you need to find many people to come to an interview, and normally you will not hire everyone that you call in for an interview. And it for sure is costly, and it may cause internal dispute within existing employees because sometimes, especially in Thai company, many politics and drama. So if the new employees and existing employees can merge together, so it might affect to your work result. So the issue of maladjustment is kind of the similar issue that the existing employee and new employee can merge together. So anyone have any question?
You know what? In external recruitment method, we need to talk about lots of method, but it is one source of method, which is campus recruitment, which can be quite important in external recruitment. So and obviously other source of other method in external and also internal. Anyway, you have a question from the audience. Okay, probably not. If no, we have two questions. Just answer question number 2. In the case that suggest question about method that they use to recruit their employees. Alright, so you have about like maybe 7 minutes.
7 minutes.